just a little longer, and this won't be a Torterra solo run anymore. And yes, by the way, this is a Torterra solo run. Yeah, would you believe I still get that? But anyway, just to come back on what I was saying near the end of the last video about the Kinect and the Move, well, I think one of the dangers of what Sony and Microsoft are doing there is that, well, as Nintendo found out the hard way, well, casual gamers, you know, the crowd that would rather play stuff like Wii Sports than actual games, you know, well, actually I just went and said it, they just don't buy enough software to be worth the effort. So, as a result, as you can see, the Wii has sort of stagnated a little bit, whereas the PlayStation 3 and the 360 are catching up very slowly. We can't really say, in terms of total console sales, that it's a three-way race, because the Wii still has a 47% market share as of now. Oh god, a dribbling. Let me guess. Aftermath. Yeah, probably. Now that this is out of the way, yeah, what Sony and Microsoft are doing is fairly risky, because you're going for a crowd that just might be tempted to say, oh, I already have a Wii, why would I go for that? And no, I didn't intend to pull VG Cat's reference, though it sort of is the truth. I could see lots of people thinking like that. Screw that, I already got a Wii, why would I be interested in the Kinect or the Move? Yeah, of course, there are the core gamers who realize that all three consoles have very different libraries, especially the Wii compared to the other two, but non-core gamers, more casual gamers, they might not really see much of a difference between Wii Sports and stuff and what the Move and the Kinect have to offer in the same department, and they're just gonna say, oh, it's okay, I already got a Wii. But one thing I'm wondering, though, is that Nintendo still managed to make it a profitable venture by going with the non-gaming crowd by selling the Wii for a profit. Now, just give me a second here, I'm gonna see, yep, this leads to Veilstone, so I'm gonna check out that field of graph that I didn't check out in the last video. But, yeah, I don't know. And does anyone here know if the PS3s and 360s are sold at a profit nowadays? Because their prices have gone down a lot since launch. I think we're all aware of that, but is it enough for them to pull a profit, since production costs probably went down a lot too? Is that enough? I don't know. But if it isn't, I would be very, very careful before marketing those things towards non-gamers, because Nintendo probably didn't get as much money as they'd hoped from the non-gaming crowd, even though they got a lot of it nonetheless. Any money is good money. But yeah, I get the feeling Microsoft and Sony are sort of walking into a minefield there. They gotta be very careful how they market that thing. And I've already seen Kinect ads banking on sex appeal, so, yeah. Gamers can get laid now, folks! Microsoft says so! But, on to another subject. Sometimes I'm wondering if there isn't actually some sort of decent AI in this game at times, because every single time I encounter a Pokémon that I outspeed that has a priority move, it always uses it. For example, Staravia. See, another one. I bet it's gonna use Quick Attack again. Let's just see. It's probably gonna do it, and if so, then, well, I always took wild Pokemon for granted, but if they have enough, yeah, there we go, Quick Attack. So if they have enough AI to actually sort of use their moves correctly, even though the way moves are assigned to wild Pokemon, it's always the last 4 that they learn on the level up list, even though that's not always optimal. For example, there's a place, I believe, where every single Pelipper you fight there doesn't have a single attacking move. I may be mixing it up with something else, but I think that's what happens at some point in the game. But regardless of whatever moves the Pokemon is given, it seems like they actually sort of use it more intelligently now than they did in the past, because I don't remember every single Rattata using Quick Attack every time they had the chance back in Generations 1 and 2. So, yeah, maybe the AI is improving in a way. So, okay, now we are in Veilstone City, and here we got a bunch of galactic goons, because the entire north end of town is all Team Galactic all the time. They got this little warehouse here, no trespassing. Thank you very much. We're going to go there later in the game, though. The awesome Team Galactic's awesome warehouse. Well, anyway, yeah, of course we're going to be going there, as I said, later on in the game, but that's going to be after the 7th gen, yeah. Okay, he says the same thing, but is there anything up there? Yeah, we got a star piece, and this is excellent because later on I'm going to be able to trade these for shards, because I'm going to need these if I want to give Ice Punch to my Lucario once I get it. The game corner is dangerous. Well, yeah, it's not as dangerous as other game corners because it's by far the easiest game corner to get coins in. I'm going to cover that once I actually reach the game corner square of town, so to speak. And as you can see, the theme of this town is that everything is elevated compared to the main streets, which, well, let's just say this must not be a very convenient city to live in. And here we got a reporter and a cameraman as our random trainer battle of the day, which is, well, actually, you can fight them separately on certain days and fight them together on other days, as I recall. But this is the doubles fight, so yeah, Magnemite and Ralph, so I'm going to make use of Earthquake plus Flying type combo again. It's a good thing that Togetic is a Flying type. It's something that a surprising amount of people tend to forget. Of course, everyone knows that the Togekiss is a Flying type, but Togetic, even though it has wings, well, sometimes it's forgotten because Togepi itself is a normal type, a mononormal, and back when Togetic was a final form, no one ever used it because its stats sucked so much. It needed to evolve it to Togekiss for people to pay any attention to it, and obviously it is normal flying and the best one in the game at that. I don't believe, well, Wargirl's pretty good, but I don't think it can come anywhere close to Togekiss, sorry, not Togetic. And yeah, we all know how the Fly HM works nowadays, and the reason why she's mentioning this is because Veilstone is when you earn the right to use Fly. It's when you beat Maylene that you earn the right to use Fly, and you also get the Fly HM just a wee bit later. So after I beat Maylene, I won't be too long without Fly. So wanted to get rained on, then I suggest you don't leave town through the western gate because it's always raining on Route 215. Which begs the question, if it rains constantly, why isn't it flooded? And yeah, Shellos' color varies depending on where you catch it. Eastern Shellos is blue, and Western Shellos is pink. Though I think every trainer in the game uses a pink Shellos no matter where they're from. I know for a fact, for example, that, Cynthia's Gastrodon in Diamond and Pearl is pink, even though she's from Celestic, which is, in Eastern Sinnoh. What was he going to give? Oh, a Porygon! I'm getting a Porygon for free! Too bad I can't trade it away to evolve it because this is on an emulator. Because I swear, if there was a DS emulator that could support trade, I would use Porygon 2 in a heartbeat. I love Porygon 2, even more so than Porygon Z, in fact. And incidentally, in the Generation 5 metagame, Porygon 2 is one of the two non-final forms that are actually more used than the Revolutions. the other one being Dusclops. Those two I actually called that they would be more commonplace than their evolutions. And Porygon 2, if there was a tier list right now, it would be overused, and Porygon Z wouldn't. It just goes to show just how much better Trace is nowadays, and you can't ignore the pre-evolution stone either. So now we are reaching the department store, the mandatory department store in this game, which is in Veilstone, and they added a basement floor in Platinum only, where you can buy poffins and berries to make decent poffins, like for example the Wiki Berry, which remember just how much of a pain it was to obtain in Emerald? Now you can buy them in bulk in this game, and they only cost $20 each. Believe it or not, that is an amazing deal. And just as a random thought, have you noticed how in most games that are made in Japan, RPGs rather, that stuff tends to cost, well, a rather high amount of currency. For example, in this game, the basic potion, as we're seeing right now, costs $300. That would sound rather expensive if it was actually dollars, but I think that most currencies in Japanese RPGs are actually based on the yen, which is worth about a cent. So basically, that $300 potion would actually be worth $3 and not $300. That would be really expensive. So nope, I'm gonna pass on the poffins. Thank you very much, especially for $6,400. Especially since I can buy the berries to make those poffins for $20 each. I always say dollars. I don't know really why, even though I just said this is mostly based on the yen, but usually it's called Poke Dollar, but I just call it dollar because, well, whatever. Sometimes I even slip up and call stuff like gil or rupees dollars, but okay, lava cookies, no thanks, I'll pass. Even though they're a fairly good deal, but I don't think I need any right now. Didn't expect to find Paradise. Oh yeah, because that's something else. This place is supposed to offer Rage candy bars, but they're all sold out. And yeah, this was one of those things, references to Gold, Silver, Crystal that made me think that they're throwing that in there because they had no plans of making a remake, and then the year after, surprise, a remake! I was the first surprise, and would you believe people are still waiting for that Brain Crystal or whatever, even though Heart Gold and Soul Silver are essentially Crystal remakes, because, and here's the vendor that sells you the berries, very cheap by the way, but, as I was saying, Heart Gold and Soul Silver are basically Crystal remakes because they have every extra that Crystal threw in except for that egg that gave you a 1 in 2 chance of having a shiny. And they're not going to make another game just to add that egg in, I can guarantee you that. And as for Generation 3 remakes, since I already mentioned Heart Gold and Soul Silver, that topic's gonna come up in the comments again and again and again, I'm sure of it. Please don't talk about it. The subject has been beaten to death, and I honestly think there's just too much this time going against the possibility of having a Generation 3 remake before Generation 6 on the 3DS. And I just got the counter app for the Poketch as, okay, this is the vendor that sells me the permanent vitamins, and I guess this one it's for the X items, their temporary counterparts, and yeah, the counter app for the Poketch is mostly used for, well, the way it works is that it starts at 0, and every time you press the button it goes up by 1. People use it mostly to keep track of EV training, though it can be used for other things, though most of the time it's going to be used for EV training, keeping track of how many EVs your Pokemon have in a certain stat. Yeah, write secrets on mail. Why not write them down in the local newspaper while you're at it? Okay, what's this vendor for? Okay, we got a few cool TMs here, especially Protect, Reflect, and Light Screen. And in this one we got, stuff like Fire Blast and Focus Blast are the only really interesting ones. though the others can have some use sometimes, except for Hyper Beam, which sucks all the time. And on that, I'm Team This at Hyper Beam. I'm gonna finish this off for today. See you next time!